Hello. How's it going, everybody? It's your friend Johan here, and today we're going to do something fun. We're going to be talking about one of my favorite bands of all time, Paramore. From Franklin, Tennessee, Paramore have been active since '04, and with that, they've been such a mainstay within my upbringing and remain so to this day. Because they are one of my favorite bands of all time, my evaluation of their albums is going to be pretty lukewarm, if I'm going to be honest, but hey, it is what it is. I also contemplated including Haley Williams' solo stuff as well as Zach Farrow's stuff under the project Half Noise, but I think the video would run a little bit long. So with that in mind, we're just going to be focusing on Paramore's main releases, or at least the ones that are on streaming services. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So with that out of the way, here is me tier ranking all of Paramore's albums. I think I saw a video on TikTok somewhere where Haley pretty much said that she enjoys All We Know Is Falling more than Riot, or at least something along the lines of that. I totally understand why she thinks that, but I respectfully disagree. To me, All We Know Is Falling is okay. Yeah, no, it's just like, well, it's their first album and they were hella young, you know, like the musicianship is definitely there. Obviously Haley's vocals were already, you know, phenomenal, but also it's very rare for me to find the first album within a band's discography to be, you know, the best. This album doesn't get that much out of me emotionally in comparison to their later albums. This is still a fucking solid album. I mean, yeah, you got the notable hits like Pressure and Emergency, but you know, other songs in the track list like Never Let This Go or Conspiracy, those are also great solid songs that, you know, really bring All We Know Is Falling together. Yeah, you know, I stand by what I said. I do think All We Know Is Falling is okay, but I just feel that the album is really young and Paramore as a unit would just continue to master what they've already obviously demonstrated in this album, but better more down the road. Regardless of what I think, Riot is a goated album. You know, it is the definitive Paramore album. At least when it comes to my generation, it's the album that most people associate with Paramore. Is it my favorite? Not necessarily, but I understand why a lot of people, myself included, recognize this as the goated Paramore album. Obviously, this album has all the hits like Misery Business, That's What You Get, and Crush Crush Crush, but those aren't even the best songs on this album. Like, dude, have you heard When It Rains? That's such a beautifully crafted song. And then immediately after, you have Let the Flames Begin. Like, the opening guitar riff is just amazing. And then as soon as Zach comes in with his drum passages, boy, like I said, it's not necessarily my favorite Paramore album, but regardless of what I think, this thing is goated. I have no notes. Yeah, Riot, it's awesome. Following that, we got Paramore's live album, The Final Riot. Yeah, this is the most underrated thing here. As of late, whenever I do stuff around the house, you know, whether I'm vacuuming or just like, you know, cleaning stuff, I usually like put like live concert streams on YouTube or something, and clips from The Final Riot are definitely in that rotation of videos. A lot of Riot songs are played here, but also a lot of songs from All We Know Is Falling are played here. And with that, you get the best of both worlds, you know? Like, I think this is a perfect set list that they've crafted. I think their performance is amazing. The mix of this performance is amazing. And just like seeing how much fun, or at least on the surface, how much fun it seemed like they were having performing these songs for that crowd. I do love hearing songs in a different light. And I do think that The Final Riot is like a great example of that. I don't know what else to say about The Final Riot. It's just a good time. It's a good concert experience. Yeah, like I said earlier, you get the best of both worlds. You get songs from All We Know Is Falling and songs from Riot put together in one cohesive set list. And how could you not like that? Paramore's third album, Brand New Eyes, is by far their best album, and it also so happens to be my favorite Paramore album of all time. Like, when I think of the year 2009, this album is probably the first album that comes to mind. This iteration of Paramore was musically my favorite, you know, that being Haley Williams, the Farrow brothers, Jeremy on bass, and then Taylor on guitar. They made magic with this thing. You know, this album is more mature than the first two. It's darker than the first two. The songwriting is more profound and poignant. I mean, like, let's go down the track list. Track 1, Careful, amazing. Track 2, Ignorance. The amount of drum covers that I saw on the internet, whether it's like Luke Collin or Dylan Wood or something, that would cover this song specifically Just goes to show how much of a beast Zach Farrell was on this song as he is on the rest of the album. Track 3, Playing God. Such an underrated song in the grand scheme of things. Track 4, Brick by Boring Brick, is my personal favorite Paramore song of all time. And I know that, at the time, their song, The Only Exception, got a lot of flack for, being the pop song, the acoustic song, the song that only casuals know. It's a good fucking song. What do you want? And obviously, we can't talk about this album without talking about All I Wanted Was You.
Nice.
One of, if not the best closing tracks on an album within rock history. Brand New Eyes is my favorite Paramore album ever. To me, it's their best body of work, and I can't get enough of it. It's still on constant rotation to this day. Taking quite some time in between Brand New Eyes, in 2013, Paramore finally released their self-titled record. This is the first time we'd see the band without Josh and Zach Farrell, who were, the backbone of Paramore. And at the time, it seemed like such a big deal, and, it is. Now that many years have passed, I think this album slaps, regardless of whether Josh or Zach were involved. Alon Rubin was the drummer for this album. He's also one of my favorite drummers. And because he was the one drumming on this record, there's just such a different taste to it. Self-titled is the first time we see Paramore, or rather we hear Paramore diving into more, poppy, groovy, funky, new wavy type songs. And this thing's a lot of fun. Ain't It Fun is a fun song because it's fun. This thing is underrated. I think more people should appreciate it. The only reason why I wouldn't rank this any higher is just because it does run a little long, for my taste at least. It is underrated in the sense that, the departure from Brand New Eyes to self-titled, it's a very much, a lot of people think it was like such a night and day experience, but I just see it as Paramore simply evolving. I love self-titled. I don't listen to it as much as I do the other albums on this list, but hey, it still slaps. This is my other favorite Paramore record. On one hand, you have Brand New Eyes, that gives that aggressive, dark flavor. And with After Laughter, this one's more light, more colorful. After Laughter is one of my other favorite Paramore records for many reasons. One being, we got Zach Farrell back. His drumming style on this record, I don't know if it's him specifically or just like how the band wrote all the songs together, but he's just a lot more saucy. A lot of what Taylor plays on guitar is a lot more funky, a lot more colorful, a lot more, I wouldn't say leady, but just like a lot more melodic, but like in a rhythmically melodic way, if that makes any sense. After Laughter strikes the perfect balance between being a fun thing that everyone can enjoy, but also being deeply personal, Yeah, that's why I love it so much. Whenever I'm not listening to Brand New Eyes, I'm listening to After Laughter, and vice versa. That's why I have the two of them as my favorite Paramore records ever. I'm going to get in a bit of trouble here, but I do think this album is a wee bit overrated. There's just something, to me, this is why it kind of follows the same template that After Laughter and Self-Titled does, but it's just not as saucy. Like, there's a certain color palette that this album has that I don't think is for me personally. This is also where Paramore kind of ventures into the more post-punky kind of thing. Post-punk isn't really my thing necessarily, so maybe that's where my bias is registering this album here. I still listen to this actively. Actually, funny enough, this is the Paramore album that I listen to the most nowadays, at least, or at least in preparation for this video. This album is by no means a bad album, because I don't think there are bad Paramore albums. This album is just the most misaligned to what I like personally when it comes to music. Finally, we got the This Is Why remix album. Yeah, this thing's okay. This is the Paramore album that I probably listen to the least. Standouts for me would be the remix of Running Out of Time by Panda Bear, the Figure 8 remix with Barty Strange, and to me, my favorite would be the Thick Skull remix with Julian Baker, or at least her rendition of it. I think it's beautiful. Yeah, check it out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you love Paramore just as much as I do, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, if you haven't already, also check out the video that I did on Deftones, because they're also one of my other favorite bands. It pretty much sums it up. Take care. Have a good one. I love you. Peace.